Listen, you clicked on this video for one of two reasons. Number one, your finances are or number two, you get amusement out of people who are struggling financially. Well, either way, this is a great video for you. I've got 8 actionable steps, things that you can do today in order to unf your finances. And at the same time, if you feel like you're at a decent spot financially, I can almost guarantee there's going to be some solid takeaways for you in this video as well. So without further ado, let's start with step 1. Now, let me be completely honest with you. These first 3 steps, they suck. But they are the foundation to getting yourself on track financially. Without this, you are not going to have success in finances for pretty much the rest of your life. So just buckle down, knock these out of the way, and then all the other steps are going to become so easy for you. So let's start with step 1, which is assessing your situation. Now, you clicked on this video, you're here. Step 1 is admitting you have a problem. And hey, I have a problem as well. That's why I'm making this video. So assess where you're at. What we're going to be doing in this section is just doing an overall health check on your finances. I want you to gather any bills that you have, debts, credit card bills, anything like that, and look at your monthly spending. Really track it. Maybe go back about a month or 2 to get the trends and the patterns of how you're spending your money. And that way in the future, you can identify some easy ways to cut back, or it's just helpful in the later on steps. We'll talk about it when we get there. The second thing I want you to do in this section is just to calculate your total net worth. And basically how you do that is you add up all your assets and you subtract all of your liabilities to get your total net worth. In my last video, I did a complete breakdown of my total net worth, and that was in preparation of step 1 for this video. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that in depth, you can go check out that video, but let's move on to step number 2. Now, step number 2 is super important. I want you to get a pen and a piece of paper for this one because you're going to be writing this down, and this is going to help you so much with the clarity on where you're headed. See, it is kind of like a mental mind game when it comes to savings and investing, and this is where this step comes in handy. Set clear goals, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And so I'm going to run through my goals, and yours could be entirely different, but I want you to do it in 3 categories. I want you to have a 1-year goal, I want you to have a 2 to 3 year goal, and I want you to have a 10-year goal. Now for me, my 1-year goal is to have a certain amount of money saved up, and that is going to be $80,000. Now, the reason why I'm at that phase is because in step 1, I've already identified that I am out of debt. I don't have to worry about too much payments, and I can really shovel away cash from here on out. So by the end of this year, I want to have about $80,000 in cash. For you, it might be something like eliminating some debt or paying down some debt and getting yourself a little bit more on track financially. Now, 2 to 3 years from now, maybe you have the goal of paying down more debt. I'd set a specific number on how much you're looking to pay off or how many different accounts you're looking to pay off if you've taken out multiple, but definitely that's always a solid goal, paying down that debt. For me, it's going to be in terms of investments. You see, I want to have 2 more rental properties in my portfolio. I've realized with this first one that I have, it is such a key in wealth building. And so I want to get 2 more at that point. Now, it's going to be interesting how I get there. You can do some creative financing, but that's definitely the goal there. So let's take a quick look at 10 years from now. 10 years, I want my passive income through my real estate ventures, through my investments, and potentially even business ownership to completely cover all of my living expenses. And that way I'm technically living financially free. I'm not bound down to a 9-to-5 job, and I can kind of live the lifestyle that I want to live. Now, if you look at each goal that I set along the way, they are all SMART goals. They are time-bound, 1 year, 2 to 3, and 10 years from now. They are all measurable, specific numbers behind them. The first one is having a specific amount in my bank account. The second one is having a number of properties. And the third one is going to be having my lifestyle completely covered. I'd probably set that goal at being something like the passive income being $100,000 annually just to make it a little bit more measurable, but you get the gist. Now, step 3 sucks. I'm going to be completely honest. It sucks. It's my least favorite part, but I've found ways to make it a lot better. And that is creating a budget. And I know what you're thinking, like not everybody necessarily needs a budget. Maybe you're somebody who doesn't, but let me tell you this. Some of the smartest people out there that I know, business owners, right? If you own a business, what do? You hire professionals that are going to handle the finances of that company because it's so crucial to the performance. Now, you need to be that person for your own personal financial life. And if you think about it, it just makes sense. Let's say you don't know how much you're spending month to month. Well, you won't know your savings rate and you'll have no idea how you're going to progress forward. I was that person who didn't think that I needed a budget, and I fucked up my finances. I got to this point. So this is like extremely, extremely important and something I've been working so hard to build out. Now in the future, I am going to be releasing a video that is completely breaking down my budget and how I've set it up. But just keep in mind that there's a generally accepted rule in budgeting and finance that people try to achieve the 50-30-20 rule, which is 50% of your income goes towards your necessities, 30% goes towards your wants, and then 20% goes towards savings and investing. Now, I disagree, and I think your savings and investing rates should be much higher than that, especially if you want to achieve financial independence, if you want to retire early. But as a benchmark, if you're not at that point right now, I would work my butt off to get to that point, so that way I could set myself up to wind up saving more in the future. Just as a side note, I am creating an ultimate budget finance net worth tracking spreadsheet, and is going to be a culmination of all of the best resources that I found out there in order to do so. If you want to get early access to that, go ahead over to my website, daltonlitz.com, sign up for the newsletter. It's going to be released there first, and I'm going to be showcasing that video here in the future on the channel as well. I am super excited because I think it's going to be extremely helpful in this entire journey that you're on. And listen, this wouldn't be a personal finance video if I didn't mention step 4, which is building a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Again, generally accepted is 3 to 6 months. Now I go above and beyond because I have a real estate property. I've got about, $21,000 in my savings account. And that's mainly because if something drastic happened, let's say the roof starts leaking and my 2 furnaces blow out, and there's other issues with the property, well, I want to have the cash available, ready to go, and not have to worry about where I'm going to get the funds from. This is going to save you if you have invested a lot of money. You're not going to pay taxes on needing to sell your investments. And it just really sets you up with the peace of mind in order to take the reins of your financial situation. And let's be honest, if you're trying to unfuck your financial situation, well, at the end of the day, your mindset is such a valuable component to that. Next, we can look at step number 5, and that's to pay off debt. And the way that you want to go about paying off debt, I have a very strong opinion on this. It's the debt avalanche method. The reason why I love the debt avalanche method is I think it just maximizes the amount of return that you're getting through paying off debts. How this works is you look at all of the debts that you have. You could have like a credit card bill. You could have a car bill. All these different things that align up and make all of your debt. What you want to do is identify the one with the highest interest rate and work on paying that off as quickly as possible. So this means making the minimum payment on all the other debts that you have, and then really front loading the amount of money you're throwing towards that one with the highest interest payment. And then you trickle down. Once that one's paid off, you end up tackling the next highest payment. And I oftentimes find this way more important than starting to invest at this point. And the reason is this is guaranteed return on your money. Let's say you have a bill that has a 12% interest rate. Well, if you knock out that payment, you've automatically just capitalized on a 12% return. So this is where I might differ than some people in thinking that investing is kind of irrelevant until you knock out a lot of these debts that you have. Listen, let's talk about step number 6, and it's going to be all about investing. What I want to talk about here is that there's a certain strategy I think that makes sense for most people out there. If you work a 9-to-5 job, at every point in time, even before you pay off that debt, I think that there's a case to be made. Get your 401k match. If your employer offers a 401k match, it's like up to a certain percentage. Some companies it goes 3%, 4%. Basically, you're going to invest in order to get the match. You're going to invest 3 to 4% of your salary. Your company is going to give you a free 3 to 4%. And that way you're actually able to take advantage of this free money. And then from there, after you've paid off your debt, now you're investing in different ways. One of the best ways you can invest is invest in yourself through trying to increase your knowledge and skill set so you can monetize it later on and earn way more money than you would elsewhere. Now, the other thing that you can start doing with investing is I take the approach of if you got a 401k, You take your employer match, you go, you invest and max out a Roth IRA. You can invest up to $7,000 annually in a Roth IRA. Then you can go back to 401k investing and maybe some individual account investing as well. And that is the generally accepted way to go about investing with your finances. Now, if you are a brand new investor just getting started for the first time, and you're not really sure where to start, well, I have a channel that talks all about investing. It's one of my biggest passions in life, growing money and finances through investing. And if you're brand new, one of the best approaches you can take, I think personally, this is what I wish I was told, is invest in ETFs that are going to trace the market. And on average, you're going to return an 8 to 10% annually. It's so frustrating to see all of these people who have kept their money just in the bank, not working for them, and essentially letting these banks and corporations rob them because of the low interest rates that they pay. So definitely go ahead and start looking up and learning a little bit more about investing, because this is going to be one of your avenues to get to the next level financially. All right, now step number 7, we're going to talk about, it's going to be increasing your income. Now, this is kind of critical along the way. At some point, you're going to be able to take advantage of everything that you've learned from the last step and everything that you've done in order to get to this point, right? If you need to save money, you're probably working really hard to do so. And in that job, hopefully you have a path to scaling your income. This becomes really important because if you want to be able to get to that next level again financially, then you need to make sure that you are on track to do so in terms of how much you're going to be saving. One of the best ways that you can save more money is obviously just make more money. So maybe you go out, you start a business, maybe you start a side hustle, and maybe you have a really clear corporate path to making a ton of money as well. No matter what it is, at some point along the way, I think you need to be able to hone in on more ways to generate income. And for me, I think that's going to be through, well, one, this YouTube channel, but also different business ventures that I'm going to be creating here in the future. Really excited to talk about. And again, but let's get into step number 8. Now, step number 8 is to constantly monitor and refine your finances. It's important that every month you kind of sit down and you're looking at your budget and you're figuring out, am I within my budget? Did I overextend this month? What do I need to do to get better financially? This is where you can also monitor and not run into things like lifestyle creep. You see exactly how you're progressing and you're looking on if you're achieving your goals, right? If I realize that a couple years down the line, I'm not going to achieve my 10-year goal, well, what can I do in order to get back on track? Or maybe I need to even set some new goals in order to achieve a different level than what I had previously set out. But what's really important is that you know that your financial journey is a never-ending battle. Even for those who have more money than anybody can imagine, what do they want? Well, they want more money. It's crazy. You're never going to feel comfortable with your finances, and they're always going to feel a little bit fucked. Now, in the future, I'm going to give you a detailed breakdown on how I'm going to achieve these different goals in my financial journey. Make sure you're subscribed to see that video. If you want to check out my reveal of my net worth, go ahead over to this video here. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and have a great day.